souls of the faithful departed rest in peace. Amen. Signed, Dr. Osemege Emovon, for the family.
In the news tonight, Speaker Edo State House of Assembly tests positive to coronavirus as Governor Obaseki sends samples for testing, goes into self-isolation, and correspondent on special assignment underscores the importance of social distancing as coronavirus spread rages. Good evening, thanks for joining us on NTA Benin Main News. I am Obehi Utubu, Aprasai. Edo State Government has confirmed that Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Frank Okiye, is the index case of COVID-19 in the state. Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, who disclosed this to journalists, also said that Governor Godwin Obaseki has gone into self-isolation following his close contact with confirmed cases. Good luck, Inaini reports.
Mr. Shaibu told journalists that the governor has sent his sample for testing. He explained that the governor is not showing any symptom of the virus, but has taken necessary precautions.
The governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, has gone into self-isolation following the close contact with the Bauchi State Governor, Senator Bala Mohammed, and Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, who have both tested positive for coronavirus. The Edo State Governor had contact with them and he has gone into self-isolation. In this case of coronavirus in Edo State is the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Frank Okiye. He traveled to the United Kingdom, he came back and went into self-isolation. He sent his sample for testing and he came out positive.
The state government is contemplating a total lockdown. It has also rolled out more measures to curb spread of the virus, reducing the number of persons at any gathering from 50 to 20. Except for sellers of foodstuff and other essential commodities, all markets in Edo have been closed to other category of traders. Government, according to the Deputy Governor, has set up a task force to enforce compliance to the measures put in place by government to check the spread of the disease.
I've ordered the law enforcement agency to enforce the ban on public gathering, and also instructed the security agency to also monitor compliance. And the local government councils has also been directed to also enforce such compliance in their various councils.
The 35-member COVID-19 response committee inaugurated by the governor will continue to review the situation in the state and step up measures to contain the spread of the virus. In Benin, good luck, Inaini, NT News.
Let's now join Eugenia Ndubisi, who monitored the level of compliance to the sit-at-home directive to civil servants on grade level 1 to 12. She also has the people's opinion on the directive and why it is necessary that they abide.
Apart from social distancing, stay-at-home directive is one of the deliberate efforts by the Edo State government to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Some respondents, in their views, see the directive as a right step in the right direction, while others say the order may not go down well with many, as the government should have put this in place to cushion the effect of the stay-at-home order.
Even scripture says so. When there is the need for you to be at home, you have to be at home. because there is danger in the air.
I know about people that have no job. I don't have jobs. They don't have jobs. That's the fear. But it's a welcome development.
There should be some bit of social concern on behalf of the masses from governments.
Everybody stay for us. Where everybody go there eat now. I want to do because now this kind of foreign now I to feed my family. And the bad government no work everywhere. No seafood they eat.
The federal and state governments early this week gave directive that civil servants from grade level 1 to 12 should stay at home to check the spread of the coronavirus. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
And Anwili Okolo visited various organizations to see how social distancing directive is being implemented and observed by people.
Social distancing or physical distancing is a set of infection control actions intended to stop or slow down the spread of a contagious disease. It is to avoid mass gatherings and maintaining distance approximately 6 feet or 2 feet from others when possible. It is most effective when an infection can be transmitted via droplets like through coughing or sneezing, as is the case with the coronavirus pandemic.
So at any point, in fact, there are even some clinics now that are closed down, you understand, so that and for clinics that are open, the waiting area, we ensure that people stay about 1.5 meters apart to give that gap, because you know, this coronavirus thing is a droplet infection, though we are getting a sense now that it's also airborne. But if you're able to maintain 1.5 to 2 meters gap, you're not likely going to come down with it, because a droplet, this thing, gravity will make you fall and you don't have contact. But most importantly,
this strategy, reports say, saved thousands of lives during the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. And in Mexico during the 2009 flu epidemic, social distancing measures were associated with a 29% to 37% reduction in influenza transmission rates. Social distancing can come in various ways: school closure, workplace closure, cancellation of mass gatherings, closure of recreational facilities, and even limiting face-to-face contacts. As this is employed by governments across the world as a means to combat the spread of COVID-19, the Nigerian government follows suit, and it trickles down to states, Edo inclusive.
Every citizen should practice social distancing to prevent the coronavirus from spreading in our state. In order to give effect to our social distancing policy, gatherings of more than 50 people are prohibited in Edo State until further notice.
The directive seems to be ignored in Benin metropolis. Commercial buses and taxi operators are still overcrowding their vehicles with 4 passengers at the back seat and 2 in front in the case of small-sized vehicles.
Now 4 with the carry, but when passenger just near me now, he go say na 3. I say no, not be bad motor for me. Now 4 at the carry. Say, if you look at it in our banners, it's not correct. And with the brand 6,000 now, we'll come buy diesel. Now they if they say they made a stop ticket now, that it will fit the carry and the motor the garage.
At the markets, it is business as usual, despite state government's directive that only those selling essential items should be open for business. However, at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, the initiative is in force through the trial system to ascertain severe cases that should be taken into the hospital and which ones can be rapidly attended to avoid overcrowding.
Patients are coming to the hospital from henceforth. We have morning bookings, we have afternoon clinics for them. And so rather than everybody coming to the hospital at once, we have now taken steps to ensure that some come in the morning, others in the afternoon. So,
while some financial institutions were observed attending to a particular number of customers at a time, while encouraging many to keep 1 to 2 meters apart from the next customer.
About the 5 people inside, 4 that will allow us inside.
Kasha, some of the Kasha was asking us to give space to each other so that we should not near each other.
The Nigerian Television Authority was not left out as well, setting a good example for others to follow. In Benin, Anwili Okolo, NTA News.
Social distancing is one of the measures necessary for reducing the spread of coronavirus pandemic, as government has put up measures to ensure people adhere to the directive of social distancing to stop further spread of COVID-19. These form the thrust of discussion on Midweek Connect program this Wednesday. Ifeoma Akafo has details.
One way to slow the spread of virus is social distancing, also called physical distancing. Coronavirus has continued to spread across the world, and Nigeria is not exclusive. Therefore, to slow the spread of the virus, it becomes imperative that people practice social distancing. This is because the more space between a person and the others, the harder it is for the virus to spread. One of the guests on Midweek Connect is the Commissioner for Health, Edo State. Dr. Patrick Okundia reeled out the reasons for the state government to reduce the number of people in any public gathering from 50 to 20 persons, closure of schools and markets, and other practice of self-isolation as social distancing.
The social distancing measure should be able to express the fact that you should have a minimum of 5 feet space between individuals. So let's get to the extreme so that we do not make any mistakes. Right, and we all know coronavirus as it is we say it's not as bad, it's not as deadly as other bigger viruses we have seen, but the rate and modality of spread is just so much. So we need to contain that.
The second guest, Professor Omoka Adeleye, emphasized the importance of social distancing as droplets from infected person cannot get to the other person if there is distancing of at least 1.5 meters apart. On the best method of hand washing, he demonstrated it to the viewer.
Then between the fingers at the back again. Then clasp your fingers together and rub this way and this way. That ensures that the soap is well spread. Don't forget your palms, left and right. Finally, your wrist, before you now rinse.
It is hoped that people will continue to practice social distancing to help stop further spread of COVID-19. In Benin, Ifeoma Akafo, NTA News.
And live in the studio to tell us more on how the disease presents and, of course, the importance of social distancing is Professor Omoka Adeleye, a consultant in public health and community medicine in the University of Benin and UBTH. Sir, you were in the studio earlier today on our program Midweek Connect, where you demonstrated hand washing technique elaborately. Now, can you tell us briefly how this virus presents, the symptoms, how to present stage by stage?
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Now, let's make this clear. First of all, that to a large extent, for a majority of people who become exposed to the virus, they are not symptomatic at all. That means that they don't manifest with signs that you can see. They don't feel sick, they don't look sick, they don't look ill, they look well, they feel well. This is important because that is the main body or the main category of people that we are most worried about. And that's because they are the ones that are most likely to transmit the virus without knowing and unintentionally too. Now, a small number gets sick. Those who fall ill usually start by having a fever. And this is important for us to know because fever is a common symptom here, especially of malaria. And someone might just think it's another episode of malaria. But after the onset of fever, cough then follows. Okay. And then after some time, shortness of breath. So the person isn't able to breathe in deeply, isn't able to breathe out fully. That's often accompanied by pain because at that point, the virus has gone deep into the lungs and is causing damage and pain. Because of the damage and pain, the lungs are not able to expand fully or relax fully. So that really causes quite some distress for the patient.
So what should people be doing as they practice social or physical distancing?
Okay. Thank you very much. Social distancing simply means that outside the home setting, a minimum gap should be maintained between you and the next person to you. The best place to start social distancing is immediately you come in contact with people around you. That means, first of all, avoid handshakes. And in avoiding handshakes, that means that you reduce the likelihood of either transmitting to someone else or for you becoming contaminated by someone else. In social distancing, the minimum gap you keep is 1.5 meters, or simply put, 5 long rulers, the rulers used by school children, 5 of them. Just imagine that between you and the next person. That's one way to ensure that you have good social distancing. But perhaps the most important aspect of social distancing is stay at home. If you have something to do outside that is not very important, cancel it. Cancel events, cancel social gatherings as much as possible. Avoid them. Stay at home. And even while at home, keep your windows wide open as much as possible, even your doors. Taking care too about security, balancing everything together. But social distancing is a very important component of our control program.
So how do people boost their immune system, especially at this time when it is clear to us after, we got confirmation that the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly has tested positive to coronavirus?
Well, boosting the immune system is a very non-specific thing in terms of action to carry out. All we are just advising people to do in terms of ensuring good immunity is, number one, eat normally. If there's anyone who is malnourished, this is the time to correct the malnutrition. And that means you should have enough proteins in your meal, you should have enough carbohydrates, you should have enough vitamins, basically. Now, if you have diabetes or any other immune compromised illness, be sure you're well controlled, because those people who have immune compromising illnesses like diabetes mellitus, HIV and co are the ones that are most likely to come down. So you need to be treated, you need to be well controlled at this time.
Thank you very much, Professor. I'm sure when we call upon you again to come and appear on the program, because this is an ongoing issue that we hope, to have you to talk more on it. Thank you very much, sir.
That will be my pleasure. Thank you.
So it's time now for another break. We have more reports shortly. Do stay with us.
My people, make una listen o. No be news again say coronavirus don enter Nigeria. Coronavirus na that bad disease from China wey dey cause fever, dry cough, sneeze, pneumonia fit enter and e dey kill. But no cause for alarm, because our government dey on top of the matter. Just shine your eyes, wash your hands with soap and tap wey dey run, cover your nose and mouth if you wan cough or sneeze. No enter bus wey pass 3 people per seat. Keep good distance from people. No near person too much. No shake anybody. No hug. Government don't even plan any gathering of more than 20 people. All shops for market closed except people where they sell food, medicine, provision, fuel and other essential things. If you see as your body be, quick go hospital or call 0808 4096 723 or 0806 425 8163. My people, make una no panic, no carry rumor. The Edo State government bring una this message.
Enjoy your service, young man.
You're nice.
You're welcome.
Please, where's the restroom?
We're just going to your right. Thank you. I follow.
Mommy.
But you see, it's nothing to worry about.
Now, Glow 4G, the wrong thing.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
Next time you visit the ancient city of Benin, two things will excite you: the warmth and welcome of its people, and of course, the class and style of its hospitality business. Rendeki Gold, home of hospitality like no other, located in one of the most serene environments in the ancient city, truly classy and exquisite with world-class facilities, fully equipped digital multipurpose hall with life-size, ultra-high definition LED screen, 180 square meters king-size swimming pool with bubble bath, enough to leave you breathless. The exotic Ariel's Bistro and Grill restaurant with variety of continental dishes, especially some of the rarest delicacies you can find in town. Fact is, a visit will truly convince you that we are gold. Rendeki Gold is the gold wing of the prestigious Rendeki Royal Hotel at 6 Uhenyi Street off Ihama and Boundary Roads, GRA Benin City. www.rendekihotels.com. Rendeki Gold, our hospitality is gold.
You are God. You are God.
As the deadly and highly contagious coronavirus ravages the world by killing and paralyzing the world economy, the spiritual leader of Christ Chosen Church of God International, Senior Apostle Dr. David Unuefe Ikwiwu, has directed all ministers, members of the church, and other believers in Christ to observe a one-day consecrated fasting and prayers on Saturday, 28 March 2020 at 9 a.m. or an area of the branch closest to you to pray earnestly. Ask God to mercifully forgive the world their terrible sins. Pray to God to have mercy and stop the spread of this pandemic and many more. Bible says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, confess their sins and pray, I will hear and heal their land. The world needs your prayers. Nigeria needs your prayers. Edo State and even the church needs your prayers. So pray for the world, for Nigeria and Edo State.
Thank you for staying with us. The League of Imams, Edo State, has suspended all Juma services until further notice. This, according to a statement signed by the Chief Imam of Benin, Imam Abdul Fattah Enabulele, says the decision was taken at an extraordinary meeting held this Wednesday at the Benin Central Mosque. The statement adds that the development is based on the prevailing issue of the coronavirus pandemic in the world, which has extended to Edo State, and in line with the state government's directive that congregation of more than 20 persons should be avoided. The statement further adds that the decision by the League of Imams is also in accordance to the Sunnah and as practiced in other parts of the world presently affected by the virus, which it terms as plague. As a way of checking the spread of coronavirus in Benin, individuals are now distributing sanitizers to members of the public. Eugenia Ndubisi spoke to one of those individuals, Sonny Ogwebo, on the gesture.
At this time, the global community is faced with the virus. There are some proactive steps to be taken to avoid being infected. One of such is the use of sanitizers. This is why a Benin-based philanthropist, Sonny Ogwebo, is distributing sanitizers to members of the public. He sheds more light on the initiative.
We cannot leave this issue to the hand of government alone. We have big companies. We have individuals who have the capacity to complement the effort of the government. We expect at this time they should all come up, do the needful, provide free sanitizers to public, go on more public enlightenment. This will go a long way in reducing the casualty, the envisaged casualty from this pandemic. A lot of people out there don't even have access to 3 square meters, talk less of going to buy sanitizers. Such persons must be encouraged because this sickness does not understand who is rich or who is poor.
Other individuals and corporate organizations are also encouraged to follow suit to fight the virus out of the city and the state at large. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
Let's take another break. When we return, the concluding segment of the news. Please stay with us.
Thank thee for the rivers that run all day.
In view of the prevailing precarious situation in our world about the COVID-19 pandemic, we are constrained to obey the directives from the Edo State government to make the following pronouncements: that the planned celebration of life for our father, late Chief Professor Emmanuel U. Imovo, has been postponed and new dates will be announced in due course. However, a private burial and interment will go ahead. Whatever inconveniences this may cause is highly regretted. May God protect us and our esteemed families and friends from this plague. As we appreciate the love and concern expressed thus far, may the soul of Chief Professor Emmanuel Imovo and the souls of all the faithful departed rest in peace. Amen. Signed, Dr. Osenige Imovo, for the family.
Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam.
To the hear my customers, they complain about my place because light no dey and the heat na die.
Light matter no be problem to any business again, no. Because Uyi Technica, the generator headquarters, don't give solution to every business to blow, even with the small money for your SSO pocket.
Hey, I say cheap so na be say I go buy one for my store and the one wey go pump water and carry our air condition for house.
Oh yes, with generator for everybody, for Uji Technica, all kind quality generator boku, from small generator go reach big package generator with original spare parts. Uji Technica, na dear 100% copper generators a day. No be aluminium, no, even grinding machine and pepper milling. Okay, Kofiara, come carry your own from the generator headquarters, 79 81 83 Mission Road for Benin City.
Some family members of those who were murdered and injured following the crisis in Olugbo community have embarked on a mild protest at the Zone 5 headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force in Benin City. Chikodi Obi reports that a closed-door meeting was held with the Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Zone 5, Biba Yakadi, and members of the Olugbo community.
The protesters are seeking justice from the office of the Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Zone 5.
He murdered my son on the 4th of this month, dragging the land of Ologbo, and he's an Ishekiri person. He started this thing since 2001 when my husband was alive. He wanted to kill my husband. Then the Onoge at that time was unable to defeat that Onoge. He saw that this Onoge here is a young man, so he's trying to take the land from this Onoge.
Two Benin persons were shot dead in cold blood at Ologbo, instigated by one Johnson Asekekale, who is an Ishekiri man. Ishekiris have been living in peace with the Beninese in Ologbo before his coming. He came in there 1994 to precise. Since then, he have been fighting. Recently, he started attacking the Enoge, the newly installed Enoge of Ologbo. He claimed that he's loyal to the Benin, Oba of Benin. Oba of Benin, somebody Oba of Benin sent to go and represent him. He's fighting the person.
He wanted to kill my uncle. He also said that he killed my dad.
They were addressed by the Police Public Relations Officer, Zone 5 Headquarters, and Mecca Ihenacho.
Your protest is in order, but then you have to hold your peace. Okay, in as matter you have reported the matter to the Commissioner of Police, justice will surely be done in the matter.
Reacting to the protests and allegations leveled against him, the Iya Sheriff of Wari, Prince Johnson Ashelege, noted that the killings in Ologbo community are court-related.
What degenerated to this crisis is his boys that he formed a sort of CDA, collecting money from people while they are building. On the 3rd, one Mr. Pele was building, and his boys went there to extort money from Pele. Despite the Oba Benin have banned CDA, and the state governor have equally banned CDA. But himself, the boys went, the man offered them 30,000, they refused. The man equally sent
calling for financial assistance. Some people went there, even Giwa went there to give him 20,000 to add to the 30 to make it 50. The boys refused. They started seizing the shovels, the wheelbarrow, the headpan they are using. The workers said no, the youth said no. This thing is very wrong, you can't collect the money. They left, went to Noge Palace, collect down and start shooting.
At the end of the closed-door meeting with leaders of the community and the AIG Zone 5, Biba Yakadi, secretary to the community, Friday Osazua, rolled out resolutions from the meeting.
The AIG advised both parties to sheathe their sword, forget the past, and make sure peace is restored to the place.
It is expected that peace returns to the people of Ologbo community in no distant time. In Benin, Chikodi Obi, NTV.
And that's it on the main news tonight. We thank you very much for watching. Good evening.
Hear the word.
I close my eyes to prophesy upon 500 people. Wherever you are hearing the sound of my voice,